What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, there's been a lot that's been going on, but it's alright, because we're back, we're here, baby. So finally, the long-awaited Black Panther sequel has come out, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Directed by Ryan Coogler, this movie is, to say the least, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful on all fronts. To start things off, I will say that this movie is a lot more solemn than I previously thought it would have been, and rightfully so, because rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. August 28th, 2020, I will never forget. My mom called me and she was crying, and I was crying too, because Chadwick Boseman really paved the way for the character of Black Panther. Yes, you know, there's been iterations from the comics from the 1980s, 90s, all these other things, you know, and I understand that it is already previously established, but Chadwick Boseman really embodied the Black Panther back when that movie first came out, and even Civil War. You know, seeing him as Black Panther really made a statement. To see the way how the producers, the director, the actors, actresses, the whole film crew, everybody came together for this and really dove into dedicating everything to Chadwick Boseman was really amazing to see. As a Marvel fan and comic book fan, it really touched me, man. You know, even to start off the actual movie itself with the title screen. I'm not gonna give any spoilers for this movie, but I was emotional from the start. All of us were, and I will give it to the crowd that we were there with in the theater. There was some noise during the previews and everything. All three of us were looking at each other like, yo, we might have to tell some people to shut the hell up. But to be honest with you, as soon as the movie started, silence. Complete and utter silence. And every time there was a serious moment, or especially a moment obviously dedicated to Chadwick Boseman, it was just deadly silent. Like, you could probably hear some people breathing in the front row, and I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but it's the truth. That's how the respect in there was. Just, it was beautiful. It was stifling, to say the least. That was a great cinematic experience. That's one of the few times I've heard a theater be so silent during serious moments, and that just spoke to the gravity that this film held. All right, so let's get into the actual review. I'll say this right out the gate: Leticia Wright and Angela Bassett stole the movie. By far, without question, they stole this movie. Their performances were just immaculate. There were times that I was talking to Anthony and Haley about this on the way back from Disney Springs, and I was saying there were times that almost everyone on the screen, they weren't acting. In that moment, that's what they really were feeling. You know, there were times that it wasn't acting, and you can tell in the movie that these actors and actresses, they felt the loss of their fellow coworker and friend. Probably, you know, some of them probably considered him family. It's just mind-blowing that the direction of this movie, you know, it was just phenomenal. There are some gripes that I have, but overall, this movie was beautifully done. Danai Gurira as Okoye is easily one of my favorite characters. Like, she doesn't even have to speak, her face speaks for her. Her acting is always through the roof, and this movie, she brought it. I will say, majority of the people on the screen, whether it was extras, main characters, one-liners, doesn't matter. Everybody really was invested. Another person I really have to give top marks to is Tenoch Huerta. He played Namor in this movie, and first of all, it took 10 years and 10 nights for Namor to actually make it to the big screen, first of all. Second of all, I will say that he really did a great job. From the moment he was introduced on screen, I could tell that he was really gonna embody this. Just the look that he had on his face and the way how he carried himself as Namor was beautiful, man. The direction of this film was really well done, really well thought out, and the jumps that we had were well placed. Now, I will say there are some slight issues that I have. There's some timing issues. There's times throughout the movie where I thought, okay, this could be sped up a little bit, but that was offset by various moments of information or certain character development moments. There were also some people in the movie that were very underutilized, kind of thrown in there, kind of just making it, you know, seem like they were just in there just for the sake of being in there. I love some of the appearances. I would have preferred that it was more well earned, if that makes sense. Again, I'm trying to keep this a spoiler-free review, so I know it's a little vague, but go see the movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. I really think they hit the nail on the head with this movie, with the message they were trying to send, and I can't really say what that message is because it would give away the whole thing about the movie. One thing I will say is that this movie definitely teaches you about learning to deal with what's been given to you. I'll leave it at that, because we as human beings need to learn to sometimes just deal with what life handles at us, because we're not gods. We're not even superhuman, so we can't change anything that happens. We can't stop anything from happening that's out of our control. There were times too where you know, the CG or the green screen looked way off. I mean, you could clearly tell, you know, but that was, you know, maybe 2 or 3 scenes at max, and it was for a few minutes, nothing crazy, nothing to be like, you know, don't go see this movie. No, it was just, you know, just a slight issue, nothing crazy. There were several comics that they pulled from, and obviously they didn't go in depth and like word for word, page for page, script for script with comics, but there's various comics that they incorporated in this, and one of them is Black Panther, A Nation Under Our Feet, and then Avengers versus X-Men, you know, the 2012 issue, and the New Avengers. There's just so many comics that they pulled from, little bits and pieces, you know, backstories and like certain things to lead up to various things in comics, you know, involving Secret Wars and the Avengers, but we'll save that for when that comes along. So as I said before, Angela Bassett and Leticia Wright, I cannot get over it, man. They, especially Leticia Wright, the way how they incorporated their real life emotions about the situation, plus their acting with the story, was a great thing to see in not only an actress, but as a human being. I found myself tearing up in most parts of the movie because of the weight of what was happening in the movie at that time. There's various things that go on that you don't really expect. You really didn't expect that they would do in this movie, and they did it. And there's a specific part I'm thinking of right now where the tears came because of what happened and how it happened and the way how this individual responded to it. It was sad, but it was a beautiful cinematic moment, you know, and this movie just immerses you in emotion. And I think that that's where this movie is winning. Comparing it to the first Black Panther, I'll say there's elements about the first Black Panther that are amazing, and there's elements about this Black Panther that are amazing. I don't know which one I like more, but I will say that both of them serve the purpose very well. So thank you guys for joining me in this review. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and if you haven't seen the movie yet, I know it just came out, but if you haven't seen it, definitely rush to go see it. It's a beautiful movie, and especially if you're all caught up with various shows in Phase 4, the shows and movies, you're gonna have a great time. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you can get a notification anytime there's a new video. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until the next one.